Yo boys, Toot My Horn here, and after 99 grueling Swiss cheese stage games, which included being forced to watch Aurora play what they think is Counter-Strike, we've finally made it to the playoffs. Presented in front of us is probably the most lopsided playoff bracket since the Paris Major. We've got absolute Brazil and Mongolia chaos in the top bracket, and a group of death tactical masterclass brewing in the bottom half. And I can proudly say that things did not get worse for us during stage 3, but it stayed the same, because every team has been an utter disappointment and the mold continues to creep into my mind. So, we fumbled the bag on our pick'ems yet again. But as long as we get everything right from here on out, which I have an excellent track record of doing up to this point, we should be good to get a gold. So let's get into it. So starting off with the first matchup, we've got Furia versus Pain. Now what's interesting about this game is that it is actually the first game on that Thursday, so these guys are going to be the first ones sentenced into the arena, and we've got a Brazilian derby to kick it off. But between the two, this is Pain's first crack at actually making a dent in any kind of meaningful tournament. I really don't see them having much luck against a team with the likes of Fallen, even the likes of Yakinder, which has been on successful rosters in the past. I just think the stage presence for a first time go like Pain probably not going to get a nice welcome treatment, and they're probably going to falter to a more popular with the crowd Furia that has been there before. Next up, we've got FaZe clan versus the Mongols. FaZe is probably the only team left that the crowd actually would like to see win this major, and they've got their undivided support. They've got the only North American player left, Elige, on their side, Simple coming back from his retirement, and if you've watched the Mongols up to this point, they have not looked like themselves. Senzu has been carrying this team up to this point. They barely got past G2, beating the likes of FaZe clan, which they've already lost to this exact tournament. Not going to be an easy feat, and I don't see things changing for them in the quarterfinals. When you put Mongols on the stage, things get a lot worse for them. You even saw it in that G2 game where the pressure was on and they started to kind of crack, so I don't expect things to magically turn around for them here. Now for NaVi versus Vitality, let's make one thing very, very clear here. NaVi has got to be one of the most fraud teams to actually be here. Now I know what you're thinking, they're NaVi, it's a good roster, but these are the teams they beat to get here, alright? They lost to Spirit, that was their only loss, they went 3-1, things look good, but they beat absolute plumbers. And even in the game against G2, wonderful, where are you? What's going on? Can you do anything other than save your up? I don't think so. So, I'm pretty sure Vitality, they did snap their win streak, it doesn't seem like it mattered, and if you ask me, they probably did it on purpose. You had Flames come out saying, no, I wouldn't have been happy if it was 31, 32 games. I'm happy it was 30. They probably snapped it on purpose, got that monkey off their back. They don't have to worry about the streak going into the playoffs. They just have to sit down, play Counter-Strike. It seemed like a calculated move because the rest of their group stage, they just floated on past everybody. And finally, Team Spirit versus Team Mouse for the quarterfinals. This is genuinely a coin toss. I'm going to go with Team Spirit just in terms of track record. Mouse, yes, they had a pretty notable comeback. They might have a little more gusto on their side, but the teams that they beat to get here, let's be real, man. Team Liquid, Aurora, Legacy, come on. So I'm not genuinely surprised that they did make that comeback, but if they find themselves against a half-decent team like Spirit, I really don't see them turning up and actually showing a good form to take down the likes of Donk. But overall, honestly, this one is a 50-50. If you pick either of these teams to make it to the grand final, this matchup right here in the quarterfinals could just be the nail in the coffin for your pick'em. So if you want that low 1 in a million pick'em to go through, maybe pick one of these teams if you're still alive, because then you'd probably have one of the hardest diamond coins to get in history. Now moving on to the semi-finals, we've got Furia versus FaZe clan, and if you ask me, this is as trap game as trap games get. I really think that Furia has a very solid chance of winning this game. All the pressure is going to be on FaZe. If they make it up to this point, they would have had that nice win against Mongols. They'd feel a little more comfortable in their shoes. But I'm going to say that they continue on and that their story doesn't end here. Don't get me wrong, this game's probably going to get dicey. It's probably going to go 3 maps. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be gory. Simple's going to have some poetic whiffs. Neo's going to get on the mic and calm the team down. But I think they're going to get it done at the end of the day. Next up, Vitality versus Spirit. Man, this is a very tough game. You've got individual brilliance from Donk coming through. You've got more of a systematic shutdown from Vitality after their first game. How I see it is you got 2 heads on both sides. You've got Shiro and Donk, and you've got Rops and zywoo. But once those players more or less cancel each other out and they'll have their rounds of brilliance, what are you left with? On the side of Spirit, you got Chopper, you got Zontix, you got Magix. Not really too hot. On Vitality side, you got King Mezzy, you got Flames, you got Poopex just screaming his lungs out. I think that their roster's deeper, their calls are better. They shouldn't have a problem getting past Spirit at this point. And if you check their head-to-head up to this point throughout 2025, Vitality's always had the upper hand on them. So unless Chopper really digs into the strats and the nitty-gritty of what went wrong, I don't really see them having a chance here. Now here we are, the grand final. Now listen guys, my heart really does say pick FaZe Clan here, and that the storyline would be magical. But what would be more realistic and probably get me that gold coin is this. Now this is a 2-for-1. Hear me out. Vitality wins the major, I get my gold coin. Everybody's happy, we all move on. FaZe loses, very sad, but I can hang my head high saying, you know what, at least we got that gold coin, we got that second souvenir package. If FaZe Clan wins, I never cared about these pick'ems to begin with. So we've already lost our chance at the diamond. That ship has already sailed. That would be a poetic win. But really, a best of 3, FaZe Clan could squeak out a map here, but genuinely I think Vitality is just going to be so heated up at this point of the tournament, and then this is going to cement their legacy. And they're going to remind us that this major was never really in doubt. And this was going to be my pick from the very start, so I'm not going to deviate from that now, even if I think a FaZe Clan could get here, because honestly, yeah, like a Furia could easily knock out a FaZe Clan and end up in the grand final. So I think that this is probably the nicest set of picks you can go with. Very standard, not gonna lie, I'm not doing anything crazy here. But we've seen what going with more risky picks gets you in the past, and this is probably the most statistically possible pick to go with at this point in the tournament. Anyways, boys, that's the full pick'em for the playoffs of the Austin Major. Let me know why these picks are wrong in the comment section down below, while you also complain about your silver coin. Toot my horn, out.